All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to talk about a really crucial idea, a shift in how you should be thinking about AI. The thing is, you're not just a user anymore, you're a programmer. And with that power comes a whole lot of responsibility we just can't afford to ignore. You've probably heard this phrase before, right? The AI said it, not me. Maybe you've even said it yourself. It's it's kind of the go-to way we distance ourselves when an AI does something weird or brilliant or honestly something pretty problematic. It feels like a get-out-of-jail-free card. But is it really a get-out-of-jail-free card? See, that one little sentence, it hides a huge, massive misunderstanding of what our role is in all of this. And the material we're digging into today says this isn't just some minor detail. No, this is the critical question we have to face with this tech. All right, section 1, the dangerous delusion. And the delusion is this: thinking that AI is just a calculator for words. A totally neutral tool where we're not on the hook for whatever it spits out. That right there is a big mistake.
Okay, and here's the absolute heart of the matter. The AI doesn't have a conscience, but you do. It has no agency, no morals, no intent. It's just a machine following your instructions, your commands. And that makes you the programmer, which means, yeah, you're the one accountable for the result. Okay, so if we're the programmers, what does that actually look like day to day? Well, this next section, your AI driver's license, uses a really powerful metaphor to help us get our heads around this. It's all about shifting our focus from just what AI can do to what we should do with it. So think about it like this, right? We don't just give car keys to anybody who knows how to step on the gas pedal. Of course not. We make them get a license. It's a promise, a pact of responsibility. And this is the key point: having the power to generate incredibly persuasive text and images at scale instantly. That's the 21st century version of getting behind the wheel of a very powerful car. It can do a lot of good or cause a whole lot of harm. So that brings us to the really practical part of this explainer. Section 3, the 4 ethical tests. Okay, so how do you drive responsibly? Well, the source gives us a super practical 4-question checklist that you should run through before you hit send on any big AI command. Here they are: the transparency test, the fairness test, the harm test, and the accountability test. The idea is simple. Before you execute that prompt, you pass it through these 4 gates. It's like a pre-flight check for your AI work. Let's dive into each one. First up, test number 1. Am I clarifying or deceiving? This is all about your intent. Before you even type a single word, you have to ask yourself, what is my real goal here? What am I actually trying to achieve? So this test forces you to look at your primary goal. Is it to genuinely create understanding, or is it to mislead someone? This gets right into the application. Are you giving the AI fair, balanced context? Or are you, strategically leaving stuff out to get a biased result? The source calls that building an architecture for a lie. It's the difference between ethical persuasion and just plain old manipulation. All right, test number 2, am I mitigating or amplifying bias? Now, this one tackles a huge problem in AI that I'm sure you're all familiar with. It's that these models can so easily reflect and even amplify our own biases. You know how it works. AIs are trained on the internet, on mountains of human data. So of course they've learned our stereotypes. This test makes you ask, is my prompt just going to trigger those biases? Think about it. A lazy prompt for a brilliant scientist will probably give you an old white guy. A caregiver, probably a woman. It's our job, as the programmer, to step in and actively build a better, fairer output than the AI would just come up with on its own. Okay, test number 3. Could this output be weaponized? Now we're shifting from your intent to the potential impact. This one asks you to put on a different hat, to think like a security expert, and really consider the worst-case scenario. And this is such a critical point. Even if you have the best intentions, you have to think about how your creation could be misused. The example here is perfect. Let's say you prompt the AI to write a convincing bank security email for a cybersecurity training session. Harmless, right? But that exact same output can be copied, pasted, and used for a massive phishing attack. You have to ask yourself, am I building a tool or am I building a weapon? And that brings us to the final test. Test 4, am I prepared to own this? Honestly, this might be the most important gut check of them all. This is where it gets personal. This one really cuts to the chase. It asks one simple question.
Are you willing to put your name on this output and take full responsibility for whatever happens next? If you find yourself wanting to hide behind the AI did it, that's a massive red flag. You're already looking for an escape hatch. Remember, you're the programmer, you're the publisher. The buck stops with you. If you're not prepared to stand behind the work, you just shouldn't create it. Period.
All right, let's make this really concrete. Section 4 is all about programming for fairness. So what does it actually look like to put these tests, especially the fairness test, into practice? How does it change the result? So first, let's just remember this term, inherent AI bias. All it means is that the AI models have learned the stereotypes that already exist in our society because that's what's in their training data. And this is a really important point from the source material. This is a human problem that we have to solve. It's not some technical glitch the AI is going to fix by itself. Okay, now look at this example. It's called the bias refactor. On the left, you have a lazy, unethical prompt. Generate a description for a brilliant but socially awkward computer programmer. We all know what that's going to spit out, right? A total stereotype. But now look at the responsible, refactored prompt on the right. It asks for 3 diverse character descriptions, specifying a senior woman who's a leader, a young non-binary artist, and a middle-aged family man. See the difference? That's you, actively programming for a fair, diverse, and frankly, a way more interesting results. That's your power. So let's pull all this together. Section 5, the programmer's ultimate responsibility. The big idea here is that this ethical checklist, it's not just some add-on. It's not a compliance thing you check off at the very end. The source argues it's something way more fundamental. It's the operating system. I love that metaphor. Ethics isn't just an app you run. It's the foundational code that governs every single thing you do with AI. It dictates your word choice, the context you give it, and your constant awareness of those biases we talked about. It's the conscience of the programmer. And this whole framework, this whole way of thinking, it builds to one final, really critical point about what's actually going to matter as this technology barrels forward. Because it's not going to be about processing power or how big the data sets are. It's going to be about something much, much more human. The future of AI will be defined by the integrity of the people who program them. At the end of the day, it's not about how powerful the machines get. It's about the conscious, ethical decisions that are made every single day by you, by the programmer. Your integrity is the most important tool in your entire toolkit. So the final question isn't just, what can AI do? The real question is, what will you choose to build with it?